please stay quiet while we conduct the council meeting, as it picks up noises on the Zoom link. So please, put your phones on silence if they're on. Thank you. Call this meeting to order at 6:02. I have, an approval of the agenda as amended to add KDSB, senior housing as item 8.2.11. So it's going to be pulled out of the closed session and conducted in the regular meeting. It's time for approval of that.
So the motion will be that the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace, this 9th day of March 2026, approves the agenda as amended to add KDSB seniors housing as item 8.2.11 pulled out of closed agenda.
I need a mover, please. Councillor Tavio and the seconder, Councillor Minier. All in favor of that? Carried. Declaration of disqualifying interest pecuniary.
8.2.10.
Okay. Thank you. Any others? Approval of the minutes of the most recent meeting, February 23rd.
That the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace, this 9th day of March 2026, approve the minutes of February 23rd, 2026 as presented.
I need a mover, please. Councillor Net, seconder. Councillor Minier. All in favor? Carried.
Questions?
Sorry. Questions? Yes.
There's a couple concerns that I gotta bring up here.
Okay.
8.23, Councilman Terrell shared his perspective on the report noting that the township should plow driveways. That's not true. That had nothing to do with plowing driveways. Okay. Right? And then there was an allegation made that I broke the code of conduct by, Councilor Minier on there. Can you add that to the minute, please?
Well, we'll look into that, but I'll talk to the clerk about that, and if you want that.
Yeah, put that in there, and whoever else made that allegation, please.
Okay, we can do that.
And, yeah, there is more of this thing. When it comes to the main questions of the public meeting,
Yes.
can we get the, names?
And who asked the question?
Yeah,
What question they asked?
right,
Okay.
that's fair, right?
Sure, I don't have a problem with that.
And I see that part wasn't truly filled out correctly too, because there's an allegation saying that Mr. Minier made words of court conduct before I did, worse than I did, too. That's not really. But anyways, can we put that in there from now on? We should have the names on people that ask questions.
Okay, yeah. Is council anything for that? Yeah. Okay,
As amended.
as amended.
Okay, that the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace, this 9th day of March 2026, approved the minutes of February 23rd, 2026 as amended.
Need a mover, please?
We had.
Oh, we have,
Councilor Lett,
okay,
Councilor-
sorry, yeah. All in favor of that? Carried. Council direction from previous meetings, sorry, the parking lot. Question? The only comment I have, even me taking my glasses off and looking at that is way too small to read. Sorry, but it's gotta be bigger.
We'll print it on the bigger paper.
Please, yeah.
How it uploads in the back.
Yeah. Counselor Tavio.
The only comment I got is there's some of the, things that are in that, parking lot that are outstanding now. That are supposed to be done by March 1st. I have the same problem that you have.
Yeah, I know. I know,
it's still not, there's a couple issues in there that have been expiring. So either we
so can we look at that again then?
either give it more time or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I can look at that again.
Yeah,
I can't remember which one it was, there was March, it was March first that it was expired.
Okay. Nothing. Delegations. Bill Verma? Yeah. Fire and life safety manager for the fire station location study.
Bill, you're online.
can him.
Yeah.
Do the stars?
There you go, Bill.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Great, thank you. Thank you, Your Worship, and members of council for allowing me to present the station location study and the station assessment. I'll share my screen and show a PowerPoint presentation. I'm having trouble presenting. Is there the opportunity to show the presentation on your end?
You should have sharing capabilities now, Bill.
There we go. Wonderful. You see that okay?
Yes.
yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Okay, thank you again. So this is a fire station audit and location study that we were working on. The station location study, we had a project overview. There'll be a summary of findings. We'll talk a little bit about GIS maps and take any questions or comments that you may have. The project overview. The purpose of the study was to complete a building audit report for the existing fire station. This is from a fire department perspective. Complete a fire station location study using GIS maps. Evaluate the features and location of the current fire station, and then determine whether a new facility should be built in a more strategic location, and then present to council as we are doing tonight. The first phase was to evaluate the your current fire station, examine the key building features of the fire station, review the current public safety risks in Ignis, and review the physical factors that have the potential to impact where the new fire station is built in Ignis. The second phase was to examine applicable GIS maps to ensure that all data related to the potential fire station relocation study is current, create new GIS maps, and for the purpose of GIS maps to illustrate how the location of the fire station can affect the fire department's response times. Key takeaways. When it comes to your fire station, the age, layout, capacity, and location of the current fire station in Ignis presents challenges to the fire department and its operations. The current facility may lack the ability to accommodate recommended services and equipment, especially as certification requirements and demands for service both increase. Ignis should build a new fire station in a more strategic location. Considerations for a new fire station. The new fire station should be located close to areas of high population densities, as well as areas that Ignis has selected for future construction projects. New fire stations should be located close to areas of historical dollar loss fires where they have occurred. The new fire station should be located away from the rail line. The fire station should be located close to homes and workplaces of volunteer firefighters. And the new station should provide firefighters with the option of taking different streets to get to an incident site. So with those factors and with GIS as well, we located 4 different options for a potential site. These were the locations, P1, P2, P3, and P4. And on the map, you can see these 4 locations. Again, with the other factors about being away from the rail line and close to those other factors. We did a comparison with those 4 sites. And the recommended site for the new fire station was the P4 that we looked at. That site is more than a kilometer away from the rail line. The site is close proximity to where current firefighters live, as well as where future firefighters may choose to live. The site is in close proximity to various critical infrastructure. And the site has minimal exposure to schools and pedestrians, and the site has multiple access points to Highway 17. So with our GIS technology, you can see where P4, that proposed fire station, is. Within 5 minutes of drive time, this is the area to which that fire station can cover. This is the same with 10 minutes lapse time of drive time. And then for 15 minutes. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Councillor Levy.
Sorry, guys. I'm curious, did we look at, is it reasonable to exchange where Public Works is with the fire station and just transfer the building needs?
I'm having a hard time hearing. It's a little bit muffled. I heard about the is it feasible about close to the operation center?
So Lily Pad is the same street where Public Works is. Would it be feasible or more cost effective to just trade uses of the buildings?
This study looked at general areas, not specific.
Please.
I'm sorry?
Okay. Not the specific building.
No, we didn't look at specific buildings. We used the first part of the study was to assess the fire station. And then the second one was to evaluate areas to which the fire station, the general areas, might be best suited based on response times and locations of your critical infrastructure, volunteer firefighter response, and the such.
Okay, thank you. So Councillor Left, oh, sorry. Do we have approximate land mass that's going to be needed? In acres?
For determining a land mass, that would be with a different type of study, with like a fire master plan to determine your needs for training. If you were to build an additional, or if you had needs for a training center, that may influence the size to which you're going to need for an area. And so that would be a different type of study as well. So you would have to assess your training needs, your firefighter certification, in order to determine what type of landmass you would want to have.
Councillor Tario.
I just got
Yeah.
one.
If I may, sorry, I should add also, it's the level of services, the types of services too. Whether you're getting into specific specialties like hazardous materials, and if you were to increase your levels of service, the types of services, the types of vehicle and equipment, and the needs of storing that type of apparatus and equipment may also impact as well.
Okay,
Actually,
yeah, so that's what you were,
yeah, because I know the railways and the pipelines have hazmat teams, right? And they're located in certain areas. And I think Ignition would probably be centralized right here, you know, for the company. And right now they're located in Thunder Bay, so they go from Thunder Bay all the way to Sudbury and Thunder Bay all the way to Winnipeg, right?
okay,
So maybe we can try to
catch that,
catch
yeah.
something from them too, right?
Mm,
The
okay.
hazmat.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's all the questions we have for you, Bill, and thank you very much for this report and, good job.
Oh, thank you very much. And thank you again for allowing me to present to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
That the council for the corporation of the town of Big does hereby approve the consent agenda for this regular meeting of council this 9th day of March 2026, and all directions and or recommendations or motions included herein.
Need a mover, please. Counselor Keefield, second, Counselor Lanier. I was going to pull, 7.2.3, 7.2.4. Any others want to pull anything? No? Okay. 7.2.3. Is that the letter for Counselor Tanya?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make note of that, and, great job when you went to, Toronto. 7.2.4, President and CEO of Northern Policy Institute, adding an additional RCIP pilot site in far northwestern Ontario. Letter of support, District of Rain River Services Board. I think we should be supporting this because we supported it just at our conference, and they want to have something in place for the northern communities. I don't know how council feels on that. If they would support it? Yeah? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, thank you.
And, the motion was that the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace does hereby approve the consent agenda for this regular meeting of council this 9th day of March 2026, and all directions and our recommendations or motions included herein. We've already had a mover and a seconder.
Okay, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Administrative matters. The 8.1.1. Mandatory 2025 salary and benefits disclosure. Think it's a question? Any question? Counselor Catio,
I got a couple of questions.
okay?
So the chief administration office salary is also paid by 60% from nuclear waste, is that correct? There's a percentage there, right? Do they pay a percentage of that?
25%.
25%?
What we, through the mayor,
Yeah.
what we've been billing according, so however much I'm actually doing the regulatory, I actually bill the regulatory. But we've been actually, we've actually added additionally, so I know, part of the regulatory process, we have 2 of our staff that have been partaking in some of the engagement with NWMO, so now their wages as it relates to the regulatory process is also, built through that, but yes, part of mine is.
I think it's fair that the public does know that some part of your wages is not just paid by the taxpayers, but it's also paid, comes out from NWMO.
Yes.
My other question is, when it comes to the public works foreman there.
Yeah.
His base salary is not $103,507, right?
It's not.
It's not, right? No, that's
No.
important too. So there must be quite a bit of overtime in that,
Yeah, so, through the mayor, so there is some overtime. Some of our guys, might not, they might have other engagements that they're undertaking. So, he usually steps up when nobody else will.
oh, that's fine, I don't begrudge the guy working overtime.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that, people understand that, it's public works for he's a unionized position.
Yeah.
It's not his base salary, and the reason that he hit that amount of, dollars is because of overtime.
Yeah, overtime, he got paid out. He had a accumulation from past years because we didn't have a public works manager and he stepped up. So when he had accumulated overtime, which he got paid out in accordance with the collective agreement, and plus that he holds the phone, taking phone calls through the.
I don't have a problem, I mean,
Yeah. Typically, yeah, this might be a once an off year that he actually made more than $100,000.
right, and people, the public's gotta be aware of that.
Yeah.
So, and my last thing is, which I don't think is fair, because, how do you, what would they be, our, contractors, or FTE, or fixed term employees, or whatever, like, we have people working on the payroll that are making over $100,000, right? Do we let the public know that too, or? Like project leads and stuff?
I can answer that through the mayor. Anybody who earned over $100,000 from the township of Ignace last year is on that list.
Including contractors. That's what I'm asking.
Not on this list, because this is just the reportable employees to the province.
Right, so that's what I'm saying, do we have to, what I'm trying to get at is, what do you call them here, are they contractors or fixed term
Like
employees?
consultants,
Yeah, it's a contractor.
Is it a fixed term employee or is it a consultant, what is it?
Well, it'd be a contractor. So fixed term employee would be a full-time employee for a fixed term, 3 years, 5 years, whatever that
1
might be.
year or whatever, right?
Yeah, we would still be, they would still be a full-time employee because we'd be paying into their benefits.
No, they don't, not all.
Well, fixed terms, you would.
No,
So a contractor would be a different,
I was a fixed term employee and I never got paid benefits, so that's what I'm getting at. What I'm trying to, that's all I'm trying to say is that we do have employees, contractors or fixed term, whatever you wanna call them, that are making over that kind of money, and the public should know that.
yeah. So through the mayor, he is a contractor because he's being billed through his company.
Yeah, that's fine, but do we have to let the public know that? That's all I'm asking.
Well, I mean, that would be, through the
We've had a lot-
budgetary program.
We've had a lot of contractors work.
Yeah, a lot less than we have before, yeah. But I mean, that would be, I mean, we would still be, under MFIBA, so that might be, MFIBA, for those who might not know, it's protected. People's information that's provided to the township is protected under, provincial legislation. So if we were to release that information, we would have to, ask him if it's okay to release that information. We wouldn't be able to release it ourselves.
I'm just asking, that's.
Yeah.
What parameters that falls under, right?
Yeah, and that's a very good question. We can definitely look into that.
You know?
Yeah.
Because we have to explain the budget, right?
Yeah, definitely.
yes, Councilor Young.
So it says here, employment income box 14 of the T4 slip. What, does a contractor get a T4 slip?
No. So through the mayor, the contractor would be responsible. Part of it is a negotiation. We are actually renegotiating the contractor's agreement.
Right.
And part of that is we just pay him a fixed sum and it's up to him to file his taxes.
Right.
However, or it's
I
not.
just want to make that distinction.
Yes.
Thanks.
Anything else? No? Okay, moving on. 8.1.2. I just wanna say, I'm sure that we have said sorry to this individual. For this scheduling issue. Planning a wedding, I know, is very stressful. I'm sorry that the individual assumed that she was gonna be able to talk to us tonight and can't. Um, But it's open to the floor here. And council members, Councilor Gillette.
Is there any way we can see the contract?
Well, it's,
I have it right here.
Yeah.
Do you wanna look at it?
Yeah, please.
That's 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I also have proof of payment, if you want that too.
No, just the contract, thank you.
So
Councilor Daniel.
I read this, I read it 3, 4, 5, 6 times, wherever I read it, I've never read it. I'm actually very sorry that it happened to you, really sorry that happened.
Thank you.
And I think we made a mistake, if what I'm reading here, right? We have to make it right. We have to make it right. So my question is to the CAO is, I know when I read this, that you're sending this out for tender?
yes.
Okay, so are we sure that we're gonna have some contractor in place? And are we sure that the work is gonna get done this year? Because the reason I'm asking is because I know there's a lot of things that are going on all over the community, all over the, Northwest, and there's a lot of places that, that they're not completing their jobs because they can't get the man. So all I wanted to make sure is that this is really happening, and that we can, this is gonna, like, we do have the developers that are gonna fix the roof, do whatever they gotta do to it. And second of all, is when we do get that in place, are they gonna be doing the whole building at once, part of the building? You know what I mean? Can we talk to them about all that?
So, through the mayor, I can't speak to what's gonna happen in the future. So
Right.
we don't have a contractor in place. We are going to tender, or we're planning on going to tender, this week,
Right, March 30th, I think, or whatever it was.
13th, I believe. So the idea, and this is, as my report says, we've been planning on this for quite some time. So so there's not really, I can't speak to that. Will we get some interest? I strongly think that we will. The project is quite large enough that we would get some larger contractors, potentially Tom Jones, potentially Finway. I mean, I'm saying potentially because I don't know. However, they'll bid on it, and their schedule, I can't speak to anyways. In the document, we're gonna identify that this has to be completed this year.
Right.
So any of the exterior work needs to be done this year. Obviously, as we move into next year, that's gonna be pushing into the next year. And we do have funding, especially the roof particularly, that has to be done this year. It was part of one of the requirements when applying for the funding, that it had to be completed this year.
So I think what I'm asking for is, can we have a plan A and a plan B? Like, what can we do? Keep you happy and your family happy and 300 people that are coming to this community happy.
Yeah.
You know, what can we do? And, I think an outside tent or whatever, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Is there anything we can do to help her out? And then find out for sure if this is gonna happen on those days, because we really don't, I know we don't really know, do we?
We, through the mayor, so to answer your first question, I agree that we should take steps to better this. You know, the administration is quite embarrassed by this.
Every day that happens.
However, I mean, when this came to our attention and things started cementing, we had to make a judgment call. Like rather than waiting, later on where it was like 2 months before, we had to say, okay, so we had to make calls, cancel. It was a hard call, not knowing that it's gonna be secure, and it could very well happen where, we proceed to tendering and, it just doesn't fly.
That's what I'm asking.
That's the risk.
Can we work with this young lady?
I would like to. I mean, and
Let's see what we can do.
if council wishes, we can, figure it away.
More comments from other Councillor DeFeo.
It's long been a wish or desire that the community actually have an event tent for outdoor purposes. I wonder if we could have a report to council. I know it requires manpower. I don't know what that would look like. So if a report comes to council on buying and having available an event tent, because not only for the wedding, although I want to see it successful, we'd be stopping all child programming that we run through the arena. So if we have space available, that we could be able to host those things in, and for future events too.
Yeah.
We could have a fee system, to rent the tent, and I know we've rented them before for outdoor gatherings,
Yeah.
and then it wouldn't be a cost to us.
Mhm.
But I don't know what the cost is, or what the manpower would be.
Okay,
I
Leslie?
can speak to that through the mayor. It's about $20,000 to buy a tent that would be big enough for an event of this size, and also one that would be big enough that we could also use for White Otter Days. For the tent rental, I believe we spent about $3,000 last year. So within a few years, it would pay off, and we could also rent it out for other events.
Just,
Well, I just had a thought,
just to answer,
sorry.
the reason why Leslie was able to answer this, is we actually looked into this to make
Okay.
sure that we could.
Okay, gonna come out of the community wellbeing fund.
Yeah,
Councillor Net.
So Rihanna, I just want to apologize. The food profusely for this, it must be a nightmare to try to deal with. I did notice on the contract, and that's why I wanted to look at it, that there is no cancellation mentioned on either side.
I noticed
of the
that as
part.
well.
Yeah,
So perhaps that could be included in the future, if possible. Would it be possible?
yeah, so through the mayor, this is one of the, so you'll notice that it says that the person spoke with me in there, and that didn't happen. That was actually transferred over from the previous contract. I just want to
Okay.
spell that out.
Okay.
And secondly, this is one of the things that I was supposed to discuss, and I was actually in discussions, part of the fee schedule, and then updating the contracts and having the liability and indemnity clause and all of contract language. It's just, and then I got into, customer code of conduct and all that other jazz, and then, other things have diverted my attention. This is definitely one of the things that I am looking into.
Councillor Daniel.
Just to get back to the tent, I'm not trying to sell you on it, but I think it would work. Cause I think it's, because we have the tables, we have the bar, we have all that stuff, right? You know what I mean? And I also got 2 pieces of land there on the lake, if you want to put the tent up there, you can have the wedding there.
I'm open to
Free of
discussion.
charge.
I'm definitely open to discussion, but
You know,
I do feel very pushed aside, and not unheard. And I hope that does change, because I want my family to come here.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't understand why I live in Ignace.
Yeah.
So this is an awesome opportunity to show people from America, from Quebec, BC, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Winnipeg, like people from all over are coming to our community. So do this.
Thank you.
and we want your-
So I
Thank
think,
you.
council is in agreement, to work with the individual.
And we can work, and I apologize on behalf of the administration. This is deeply embarrassing for us.
Yeah. Sir.
And yeah, we can work with you wherever, like if you want to work at the beach, I'm not sure if that's gonna be appropriate with.
I think looking into what can be done with the curling hall first is more ideal. Is that something we can maybe, what was?
You're gonna, you guys are gonna discuss that.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying yes to anything right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
There you go.
okay, go ahead with the,
The motion right now is that council received a report titled Ignace Community Center Construction Project and Facility Booking Conflict for information. And that council acknowledged that the Ignace Community Center upgrades project must proceed in accordance with the established construction schedule and funding requirements. And further, that administration continue to work with affected facility users to identify reasonable alternative accommodations where possible.
I need a mover, please. Councillor Lett and seconder, Councillor Tatio, all in favor?
Karen,
Thank you.
and we're going to get our report for the next meeting about the cost of attendance.
Counselor Duffield.
I do believe there's a notice on the motion coming up for meetings once monthly.
Yeah.
I think due to time constraints,
For this
perhaps
one,
a
we have.
report could come
Yeah.
midway and keep council
Special
trained.
meeting, yes, okay, yeah,
Through the mayor,
Yeah.
just, we did plan on having a special meeting,
okay,
for a couple of things that are coming up, so they will add this.
thank you. Okay, moving on.
Thanks for meeting back.
8.2.1, Ignace High School.
That the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace accepts the correspondence from the Ignace school and approves a determined sponsorship for the Ignace High School yearbook club this 9th day of March 2026.
What does council want to do? We've always done 1,000. 1,000? I need a mover, please. Counselor Duffield and a seconder, Counselor Minier. All in favor of that? Carried. 8.2.2. RSM Building Consultants, CBO Services and cloud permit.
That council of the township of Ignace authorize administration to enter into a service agreement with RSM Building Consultants for the provision of chief building official services, plans, examination services, and inspection services in accordance with the proposal dated February 18, 2026. And that council authorize the implementation and procurement of cloud permit software to manage building permit applications, inspections, records retention, and digital workflow requirements.
Question?
I do.
Counselor Patio.
I got actually, I think we were talking to Gord about this in Toronto, when we met him in Toronto. We're looking for, building 9 inspector and building 3 because of this,
Part 3,
part 3 because of the
center expertise.
center of expertise there, right? The only question I have is, this is really expensive, it's like $195 an hour, plus mileage and everything. I mean, we're gonna need somebody with a part 3 that we can build that.
Yeah.
And when we hire this gentleman here, are we gonna use him for ordinary buildings in town too, houses and stuff like that?
So through the mayor, part 3, so it's not only the only part 3, as you know, the subdivision, the plans for the multi-purpose subdivision part is gonna be apartment buildings, and that also classifies as a part 3 as well, depending on the size, height, number of units, so, but yes, also for the individual, building permits, decks, could be, wheelchair accesses. Now, normally they don't come up. Normally they have an agreement with also the person applying, and they've worked out a way where they'll have a virtual interface, and they'll say, point to this, look at this.
Yes, I understand that. So it costs $195 an hour.
It is, but we are, so I put out, a recruitment to replace our, previous compliance officer. I haven't looked at the applications. If we can't find one that already is a CBO, we could hire somebody that, potentially or wanted to be a CBO, and this company also does mentorship, and they provided a cost to mentor this person to a point at which they would be able to conduct those inspections for themselves.
Okay, so then the other question I have is, should we be sending this out for tender for other companies to look at?
Well, through the mayor, I think that this is a very specialized field that we would potentially just end up with just one bidder anyways. This is not something that's really a business model that it's with a flooded market.
Yeah, because we're not gonna recruit like this, we're gonna lose money on this, we lose money on. The cost doesn't get passed on to the builder. Not all of it, at least.
So through the mayor, you might remember from the last meeting that this company is actually building out our fee schedule and our code of conduct for buildings. So they're gonna take into consideration what the market value is, including what they actually charge out, so it's appropriate for what they are billing us.
So we'll be collecting their funds back.
Yes.
Any other questions?
My question was just if it was if we should be sending it out for RFP or tenders.
Nothing more?
Council of the Township of Big East authorize administration to enter into a service agreement with RSM Building Consultants for the provision of chief building official services, plans examination services, and inspection services in accordance with the proposal dated February 18, 2026, and that council authorize the implementation and procurement of cloud permit software to manage building permit applications, inspections, records retention, and digital workflow requirements.
Mover, please. Counselor Smith, second, Counselor Thank all in favor? Carried. 8.2.3 engineering consultant, landfill capacity closure and full closure. Cost study.
That council authorize administration to proceed with the issuance of a competitive procurement process for professional engineering consulting services to undertake a landfill capacity analysis and closure and post-closure liability assessment for the Township of Ignace landfill site, and that the highest ranked proponent be selected in accordance with the established evaluation framework, and that administration report back to council with a recommendation for authorization to enter into a formal agreement, and further that the associated consulting costs be funded from general operational expenses.
Question?
I got a question.
Counselor Canio.
Do we gotta do this, like, I mean, I've been on council 4 times, and I think we've done it every term that I've been on council to do this study. Do we gotta do this every time, or every 4 years, every 5 years? How does this work?
So through the mayor, so we've done a capacity study. This is more built towards the requirements under our financial auditing, where the government has stated that we gotta have.
So many dollars to close the bill, the dump and all that, right?
Yes, so, and then that'll give us a liability, or hopefully not a liability, but amount of money has to be, put in investment for that closure in
Yes.
60 years.
I remember that, I remember that clearly, and I like, was an outrageous amount, like $52 million that we had to put into reserves to close it
In 60 years.
in 60 years.
Yeah.
I remember doing that.
Well, I mean, I did my own calculations on that. I don't remember.
I didn't do it personally, but.
But from conversations with our auditor, who's been our auditor for a very long time, she's never seen it. So, and we can't locate anything. We've looked, we've seen.
BD Dunwoody?
My apologies.
That's the lady from BD Dunwoody?
Yes,
Really?
M&P now. I think M&P now, yeah. Yeah, so like, she's been for.
Okay, I just remember doing it, that's what.
I mean, there are capacity, we know, that's why I say 60 years, because we know, at the current growth, I mean, doesn't take into consideration the expansion
I
due to
remember them being done as well.
Yeah, I remember.
the capacity, or?
Yeah, I remember saying, they were coming up to us and saying, we have to put $50 million, it was $52 million away for the closure of the dump. I remember all that. That was BD Dunwoody.
And we were supposed to be putting that away,
Yeah,
and we know
right.
we had.
I'm just saying, I remember that. What, can we look back in the records just in case we're gonna, you know what I mean, that it's still there, it's still there?
Well, through the mayor, I believe we did, like, this conversation came up when the audit was performed. And we looked at our records and we just couldn't find anything. And we had a conversation with our auditor. Forgive me, I forget her name at the moment, but she said that she's never seen one, and she's been doing audits for the township for over a decade.
Wow, okay.
Okay.
Any other
Let's
questions?
look back.
No? Okay, I need a mover, please. Counselor Net, second, Counselor Minier. All in favor?
Get done.
8.2.4 council meeting dates.
Be it resolved that council for the Township of Ignace agrees to the following dates for regular meetings during the remaining term of council: Monday, April 13th at 6 p.m., Monday, May 11th at 6 p.m., Monday, June 15th at 6 p.m., Monday, July 13th at 6 p.m., Monday, September 14th, Tuesday, October 13th. And that the following dates be reserved for special meetings if needed: Monday, March 23rd at 6 p.m., the town hall meeting as advertised; Monday, May 25th, Monday, June 29th, Monday, July 27th, Monday, August 10th, and Monday, September 28th. And that the meeting previously scheduled for April 27th, 2026 be canceled due to council and staff members' attendance at the Canadian Nuclear Association Conference. And that the meeting previously scheduled for June 8th, 2026 be canceled due to the CAO and Clerk Treasurer's attendance at the AMCTO conference.
Yes, I unfortunately cannot agree with this. I think when we went from monthly to bi-monthly, we examined that closely and found that the packages that we were receiving were just out of the world. I mean, there was like, I don't know how many on here, but we had up to 25 long things to read, digest, and retain. And that's my reason why I wouldn't want to go back to monthly. I commiserate that, you know, it takes time to come up with the agenda and stuff, but I'm sorry, I can't agree with it.
Anyone else?
I'm just worried with what's, potentially gonna happen here in the next year or something, that we're gonna fall behind. I just think it's important that we keep everything going as it is. I mean, by the bylaws, we only have one meeting in the summertime per month, July, August, I think. Is it July, August?
August and December.
No, we have one meeting in July, one meeting in August. Per month. So that's changing.
There's been no meeting in August since I've been on council,
There's one in July, no,
except for the
in August.
special ones that were called.
Well, yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, but that's, we already got a break in August, in
And December.
December. Yeah.
Anyone else have? Maureen? No?
I'm okay with going once monthly with reserving other Mondays for special meetings to not miss out on important things coming through. If that improves the workflow for staff, I do appreciate that the packages were quite large and receiving them on the Friday. I wonder if there is something negotiable where the packages could be ready a little bit earlier, giving them more time between, allowing more time to read the materials.
Mm-hmm.
So, the procedural bylaw was actually written that way because we're supposed to have the reports done 10 days before. And if we were to follow the procedural bylaw as written, we'd have like 3 days to get all the information we need, start analyzing all the information, and then bring it back to council before we start writing the report. So, I mean, it's just a quick turnaround, and it just seems on our end that we're not getting anything done because all we're doing is writing reports.
Yes, I know.
And we can keep that in mind. I mean, if council sees that maybe we're not, maybe the oversight is not, to the level that
So then we can change that.
we can change it. You can bring it back, and we can change that.
So explain that, how would council know if there's things that should be on the agenda that are not being addressed?
Well, there's already things on the agenda that, on the parking lot that aren't being addressed. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to change.
Is that?
And I think that a large part of that is because our workload, and it just seems like we're not being able to catch back. I know for myself, like, for the, wastewater treatment plant that we recently won, like, I'm already having to write a report to the ministry for a project I haven't even wrote one word for the procurement for. And I'm trying to negotiate with Bruno's with this purchase and sale agreement. We're catching up on the OCIF and the NORDS and the other governmental reports that we have to give. So it just seems like,
I have another question. So can you tell us how many approximate hours are being spent on creating these agendas every 2 weeks?
Well, I don't know the answer to that.
Like 15 hours a week, 20 hours a week?
probably more
Mhm.
full days for Roxanne and compiling and getting all the reports from people.
I mean,
Bring the vote tomorrow.
Yeah, I need a mover please and a second. Counselor, if you want a second, Counselor here. All in favor?
We take a recorded vote.
Recorded vote?
Okay, Counselor DPO,
Yes.
Counselor Wet,
No.
Counselor Minier.
Yeah.
Counselor Tadio.
No.
Mayor Bakery.
Yes. Thank you. 8.2.5 resignations from, Community Engagement Committee.
That council for the Township of Ignace accepts the resignations of Yvonne Dungy and Heidi West from the Community Engagement Committee, and that council directs the administration to advertise the vacancies on the Community Engagement Committee and accept applications from interested individuals, and that the Community Engagement Committee will report back to council to recommend 2 members to be appointed to the committee from amongst the applicants.
Questions? Need a mover, please? Counselor Net, seconder, Counselor Minier. All in favor of that? Carried. 8.2.6, a weed inspector appointment. I'm shocked. Counselor Tadio.
Well, we just can delegate, like, that's just what is it, a half an hour course or something, we can delegate that to one of our staff members, Kevin.
It came across my desk last week.
Again, it's mandated by the government, right? It's like, it's not a full-time position, yes. Yeah, I don't think with the weeds that they're talking about, I don't think there's
but yeah,
anything around here.
Counselor DeFeo.
Is this something that we could put out for the summer students?
so, through the mayor, that was actually one of the ideas that we thought about, and I think potentially having like potentially a little bit higher of a rate.
Sorry.
Potentially having a little bit of a higher rate just to incentivize somebody to step forward, and undertake that work. It's one of the
Yeah,
thoughts that
That
we
is,
crossed.
okay.
Or if perhaps assessing how much this actually costs, and it could be a subsequent job for, a summer student. It could not, if it's not part of their full-time work, it could be,
Yeah, it just occurred to me, but I mean, it depends. Like, I don't know what the scale of it is, like, is it anywhere in our whole, 15 kilometers, 15 kilometers, square kilometers?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're having to go into the woods, say, to find noxious weeds along a river, like, then I would suggest potentially having 2 people just for safety purposes. So there's just information we don't have at this time. And then do we have 2 weed inspectors if they have to go into the woods together? So there's some logistical things we have.
Counselor Tadio.
Do we table this till we find out?
We only have till the 1st of April.
Why, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should write him, say, if he's gonna pay for it, we'll hire 100.
Exactly.
$2 million.
Well, I don't know if they even pay for it. I think they're just saying, you guys have to do this,
Yeah.
which is, I think, the reason we brought it forward.
I think they'll just come back with more information.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want me to read the motion as it's drafted right now? The motion as it's drafted reads that council for the Township of Ignace declines to appoint an area weed inspector and agrees that the minister may appoint the area weed inspector and fix his or her remuneration or other compensation. And that council directs the administration to add the duties of the area weed inspector to the position requirements for the bylaw enforcement officer. And further, that council directs the administration to respond to the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Agribusiness to state that the notification period for this requirement was insufficient, that this requirement places undue hardship on rural municipalities with limited budgets and employees, and that weed inspection by trained personnel should be the responsibility of the ministry, not municipalities.
Yeah. Need a You think? Okay, can we have Simon?
I thought we were gonna say.
Mover,
Sorry.
Counselor Tadio and second Counselor Net for that relation.
I thought we were gonna take Councilor Detail's recommendation that table it till we get some more information on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, where are we? Community, 8.2.7, community wellbeing fund update.
That council for the township of Ignace approves the revisions to the community wellbeing fund policy and application form as presented and restarts the consideration of requests for contributions to the community wellbeing fund effective immediately.
Questions, Counselor Net?
I have a comment, so how much of this is time it's gonna take up for you? Because I would like to know that, you're taking this on to, or, who would the delegate be?
Right now, we don't have a financial officer.
Right.
It's
So it's all on
coming to
you.
me regardless.
Right.
We're all gonna pass my desk anyway.
Okay, and again, do you have any idea how many hours this is going to be involving?
Depends how detailed the application forms are.
Yeah.
Well,
If I can copy and paste, that was good.
right, okay, so you're personally though going to read all the applications, make sure they're following the regulations and stuff like that, and then pass it on to council.
And council.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Aaron?
And that would be until such time as we hire a project lead if one arises. But still, financial management would still have to cross the
Yeah.
threshold. yes.
Okay,
But they would do the heavy reading and making sure that it's.
Okay, we need a mover on that. Counselor Manier, second, Counselor Net, all in favor? Of accepting that? Carried. Okay, 8.2.8. Community wellbeing fund request, Ignace Otter Snow Machine Club.
That council for the township of Ignace approves the request from the Ignace Otter Snowmobile Club for funding toward a lockable metal shipping container for equipment storage and provides financial support of approximately $13,200 from the community wellbeing fund.
Questions? Who's the hard working group? No, the volunteers.
So,
Yes, Counselor Tadio.
I kind of, sorry, I'm in agreement with this, because we've donated to the Legion, we've donated to the seniors, we've donated to the golf course, we've donated to the stuff, what do you call it there, the skiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we bought a trailer for the kids to
Mhm.
haul their toys around. I'm in agreement with that. Something that will be used by the public, and it'll be used year after year after year after year.
Okay. Need a mover, please. Counselor Net and a seconder. Counselor Tadio, will you second that? Sorry. Oh, that's okay. Yeah. All in favor of that? Request? Very good. 8.2.9, community wellbeing, sorry,
Two of us didn't vote.
Yeah.
So,
I voted
I
yes.
apologize.
Okay.
I did not.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. 8.2.9, community wellbeing fund request, Ignace Safe Grad, need,
That council for the township of Ignace approves the request from the 2026 Ignace Safe Grad Group and provides financial support of $9,500 from the community wellbeing fund.
need a mover? Counselor Manier,
Sure, yeah.
and a seconder, Counselor DPO.
Should council,
Questions?
yeah, should Councilor Manier not recuse himself if he's planning on going?
I haven't heard anything.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As far as I know, not.
And just to follow up, he did mention at the last meeting that he would pay for his own, if they needed
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Counselor Tadio.
I want to speak on this, please. So, and I'm gonna make a few enemies here, I think. I don't mind donating a portion of it to help the kids out, go. But like I said before, I like to see other people benefiting from that money too, you know what I'm saying? If we're gonna spend $10,000, you know, if they were looking for let's say a canoe or a boat or fishing equipment and stuff like that, so it could get passed on from one kid to the next kid, right? So is it like what I'm trying to get at, is it gonna be fair that we're gonna give, and don't get me wrong, guys, I support you guys 100%, and I do believe we should give you something, eh? But next year, we're gonna have another 10 or 15 kids walking in here and saying, we were looking for $50,000, we wanna go on a trip too. I just think that,
And there,
so,
and there will be a community wellbeing fund next year too, for that purpose. So,
Yes, but
Yeah.
that's repetitive,
you know what I'm
and
saying?
that's not what the fund is for.
but it's for our youth.
Yeah. Can I say that?
Also that.
I think it's a big ask, of course, and I would, suggest maybe we consider something like in kind, so we match what you have, managed to raise. That would be my suggestion.
Counselor DPO.
I support the request wholeheartedly. I also really appreciate in the last two reports where on the community well-being it fits. So, thank you for the report, Leslie. I appreciate that.
Any further questions? We have a mover and a seconder.
Can I just make one comment just about it coming back? This was the cohort that didn't get to go on their trip to Toronto because of COVID.
Yeah.
This was-
And sorry, did we, in the past, support that trip to Toronto,
I'm-
financially support?
I believe so. The grade 7-8 trip.
We did, you know how much?
I think
Thank you much.
I have to make it up before my time.
Aaron?
Through the mayor. So there's also other solutions too. There, you could also put a sum of money in an investment, and the interest that's generated every year is used for this. That way, it's really the bank paying the interest that goes towards. So there's really, the township's not spending any money. That's just another
Yeah,
option
yeah.
that can be considered.
I have a mover and a seconder on there, right? Want a recorded vote?
Sure.
Recorded vote.
Okay, Counselor DPO.
Yes.
Counselor Webb.
Yes.
Counselor Lanier.
Yes.
Counselor Taylor.
No,
Mayor Baker.
Yes.
I'm sorry, guys.
8.2.10, Community Wellbeing Fund Request, Mary Berglund Health Center, 2026, senior symposium.
That meeting room.
Yeah, thank you. Discussion?
That council for the Township of Big Base approves the request from Mary Berglund Health Center for $2,000 from the Community Wellbeing Fund toward the 2026 Senior Symposium.
Discussion on that? Question? Need a mover? Counselor Net, seconder? Counselor Manier, all in favor? Carried.
You can come back in now.
No, I returned.
Number 9.1, notice motions.
Wait,
Oh, sorry.
we have
We have
the one more
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry, yes,
We're
pulling out of income,
yes,
right?
you got permission to share it in open. So 8.2.11 is the KDSB Seniors Housing, report, which will be uploaded after the meeting because it was in the closed package for, council, but KDSB has said we can share the information. So the resolution for that will be that council receives the report regarding the KDSB Seniors Housing Development Additional Lands Request, and that council authorizes administration to negotiate an agreement to purchase and sale with the Kenora District Services Board for Lot 11 and part of Lot 10. Further, that the township shall undertake a survey to confirm property boundaries and verify the location of any existing structures on Lot 10 to ensure the proposed severance and disposition are accurate and viable prior to completing the transaction. Further, that all costs associated with legal services, survey work, severance, registration, and other transaction costs required to complete the conveyance and register any required easements shall be borne by the Kenora District Services Board and reimbursed to the township at closing. And further, that the terms of the new agreement to purchase and sale shall be substantially consistent with the agreement previously executed between the township and the Kenora District Services Board for the sale of lots 12 and 13. And further, that council authorizes, the Kenora District Services Board to access and utilize materials generated through the township's design build request for proposals process, IGNIS RFP 2201, including conceptual designs, drawings, proposals, and site planning concepts for planning and procurement purposes related to the seniors housing development. And further, that council authorizes the Kenora District Services Board to reference factual findings and site investigation data from previous geotechnical and environmental site assessment work commissioned by the township for planning purposes, with the understanding that updated reports will be commissioned and that the township provides no professional reliance on the previous reports. And further, that a bylaw be brought forward to authorize execution of the agreement and related documents.
Anyone? Need a mover, please? Steve, and the second, Councilor Lanier, all in favor? Carried. Moving on. Leadership issues. 9.1 notice of motions. Okay, so, council has received 2 notice of motions with less than 10 days notice. If council agrees to vote on this motion coming forward, it will be on the next council meeting. So the first one,
The first motion or resolution is worded that the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace does hereby direct the corporation limited to 2 individuals at a time to represent the township of Ignace.
anyone on council want to support the resolution?
I do. Well, I can't, can I support it?
Yeah, because you made it, so
I can support it. Previous.
So two,
coming back.
so two against 3, I guess.
So,
The way, there's not to be any discussion right now, correct?
Right.
Right.
It's just
Okay.
if it comes back on the next.
Okay,
can we get a recorded vote on moving to second?
yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so then we've got Councilor Dufio,
No,
and then we've got, I don't think I just need to read it.
just go ahead.
Councilor Lott,
Yes.
Councilor Lanier,
No.
Councilor Taddeo,
Yes.
and Mayor Baker.
No. Second notice motion accounts for payment budget variance.
And that proposed resolution is that the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace does hereby direct the treasurer to bring forward a budget variance report monthly and bring accounts payable expenses to council to be approved and ratified by way resolution.
Does council support this? I vote. Everyone's in agreement with that, I'm back, please.
Let's come back.
Thank you, that will come back, yeah. No bylaws, questions from the public? Anyone online? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Nelson?
With all due respect, Mayor Gregory, several comments, several questions, okay? So I'm gonna try to roll it together and hopefully you don't get upset. With respect to the weed inspector, I absolutely support Councilor Stephen, Councilor Deacon's table it. I can't believe what I just heard. The weed inspector, to my knowledge, which is David, has been in the municipal act for, last time I read it was 30-some years ago. It's there. You must do this. Previous town councilors, and I know because I was there, we appointed the municipal foreman, adjusted the scope of work accordingly, which meant just about nothing. What I heard from council was that you're going to create a job for something that was handled very well previously by simply assigning that job to the municipal foreman. I don't know the circumstances of your letter. I don't know the circumstances currently. I listened to that motion and I'm thinking, we should read the municipal act. That was like 30 years ago. Comment one. The next comment with respect to Councillor Joy, if you're leaving the room, just an observation, you're in open session. If you've declared a conflict, there's absolutely no reason for you not to leave the room. Don't participate in the discussion. If you're in closed session, different game, leave the room. The next part is what I listened to with respect to the fire station, Noble project. What I'm surprised at is what's not there. Of course, we know that there's been a historical danger from CP Rail, the railroad fact that runs through town. We have the highway. What I didn't hear was the number of calls that are the present fire department accesses that are assigned to community versus highway extrication. Highway extrication in my mind means you hit the highway running east or west. You're going somewhere. The firefighters have to get to the highway either way. So it's a number of fire crossings, firefighters going to and from. I didn't hear any of that. This, I just heard now, these people have looked at several locations close to the town garage. What I didn't hear was snow removal. What are the primary roads that are plowed, as an example, no particular order, when, winter time, when these firefighters have to get to that fire hall, and those fire trucks have to get to the highway? What routes do they take? What is plowed first? I should point out that there's also a French school, I call it French school, on that street. So you're putting traffic, planning for traffic to and from in front of that French school, potentially.
Yeah.
The next part of it is when the fire trucks, if they hit the road from what's missing, how do they access the highway? Because historically there was a question of where was putting the stoplight in, where the fire trucks could hit the highway and go east-west without fear of being hit. So the question then is, West Street, whatever, Lakeshore Drive. I didn't hear that. Now, historically, from my knowledge of the community, the biggest danger to this town is forest fire. I didn't hear that. If, in the case of a forest fire, Ignace is well protected on the west side of Hagamack Lake. Believe it or not, we're protected from the north by CT Rail. We have a break there. We're protected from the east by the hill geography. Where Ignace has traditionally been in danger is from the south. If there's a massive forest fire there, we got a problem. Many years ago, with Ray Kangas and the like, he cut a road, he inadvertently did the community a favor, put a fire break in line. So one of the points I'm making is the potential location exposes us to the fire station to an area of town that potentially could be the highest risk if there were a massive forest fire. In respect to that situation, I don't know if it's still working, but at one point in time, council put in on Davy Lake Road a fire well, which would mess up the filtration of the water system, but to cut in and this town could stand and fight. I don't hear that identification. Similarly, with respect to the water mains that are at that location, the water main that runs along that little road, half size, it's bermed up. I'm one of the guys who put it there because we didn't have enough money to bury it into the water table and de-water. It was put there to equalize the variance in pressure between what was known as the Hillcourt subdivision and the other side of town. In other words, you've got depending on what you put there, you've got an infrastructure problem, right?
Yeah.
That's from a guy with gray hair who didn't want to say anything, who just listened to that guy. I would throw that report in the garbage.
Thank you
Send
very
it back
much.
to him.
Thank you very much for your comments. Anyone online have any questions?
When your worship, I just need a minute to unmute everybody. There we go. I've unmuted the audience.
Anyone from the online have any questions? Why not?
Hi, this is the fire chief. I don't necessarily have a question, but I'd like to report on some of what was said. So
Okay.
that report was just a summary, just so council knows that there's a need for a fire hall and possible locations.
Okay.
And that P4 was determined to be the best possible locations for many reasons. The highway can also provide a problem as well. If there's a disaster on the highway, you need an evacuation zone away from the highway at least about 1 kilometer. So that location presents that. There's 3 access points from that point. So you have an option of departing from that hall from 3 different locations, 3 different routes. So you can avoid the school if that's the case. There doesn't have to be interaction with the school population in departing that fire hall.
Okay.
There's probably a lot of other things. I think from a forest fire point of view, that location would be just as safe as anywhere else within the community due
Okay.
to geography.
Thank you, Sean.
If you have any questions for me, though, I can respond to any of this.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna move to closed session now.
That the council for the corporation of the township of Ignace convenes into the closed meeting of this regular meeting of council this 9th day of March 2026 at 7:17 p.m. to discuss the following. Closed session matters pursuant to section 239(2) C&T. D, a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board, commercial property. And D, labor relations or employee negotiations, human resources matter.
Can you move her, please? All in favor? Carry. Thank you.